Yo, what's going on guys? My name is Alex and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video. Now today is November 9th, 2020, which means that the arms race, basically all the Designer's Cut DLC has just dropped, along with the Season Pass 2, well the first part of it at least. But today there's a ton of new information that we are needing to go over. This is taken directly from the Borderlands website. As you can see, I could just keep on scrolling by. There is so much here that we are going to be going over in this video. So I hope you guys enjoy these types of videos. If you do, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, as well as smashing that like button because it does help me out a ton. But let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Alright, so today we release an update for Borderlands 3, which will be live on all platforms by 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This update adds support for the new add-on Designer's Cut, including arms race and a fourth skill tree for the Vault Hunters Mayhem 11, adjustments to character balance, and other reported concerns. Today, the EchoCast also received an update to support the Designer's Cut. Now, at the current time of this recording, Epic Games Launcher is actually having a very difficult time getting this new DLC out to all the new Vault Hunters over on the Epic Games Launcher. I'm pretty sure Steam is fine, but like I said, Epic Games is having a problem, but I'm sure they will fix that very, very soon. Alright, so now we're going to look at some of the new content to the game. So they added support for Designer's Cut, added a fourth skill tree for each Vault Hunter, added arms race, and added a multiverse final form cosmetics to those that own the Season Pass. So yeah, this is basically just kind of the stuff that we have been waiting for. Obviously the new skill trees, arms race, and the multiverse final form cosmetic specs, which I also have a video on this channel if you guys want to go check that out as well. They also added Mayhem 11, and there's a dev note here that basically says Mayhem 11 is a copy of Mayhem 10 without any active modifiers. In this Mayhem level, the quality and amount of rewards from world drops are cut in half. Mayhem 10 gear does drop in Mayhem 11, so there's no need to refarm any gear at this level. You can choose to gear up your characters quickly using Mayhem 10 or use Mayhem 11 to gear up more slowly with no modifiers. So like it says, Mayhem 11 is basically just a copy of Mayhem 10 with no modifiers. It also cuts the world drop chance in half, so if you guys worry about the world drop chance, you might just want to play on Mayhem 10, but for the majority of people, they are not going to want the Mayhem modifiers to be on, so we're going to want to be playing on Mayhem 11, which we've been asking for this for so long, and I'm super glad that it's finally in the game. Alright, so they've also updated anointments to support the fourth skill trees. As part of updating anointments to support the new trees, we've also changed them to not activate on missed activations. The Siren can no longer fake grass to activate anointments, and the Beastmaster can no longer gamma burst while looking at the sky to trigger anointments. We are monitoring how these changes affect these characters and their builds, and are looking to adjust as necessary in the future. Our goal is to make sure that no Vault Hunter has an unfair advantage related to anointments activating. Now this one right here is actually so huge for Amara and Flack players, mainly Amara players because obviously Fake Grasp has been in the game for so long. You know, you just basically look at the ground, you Fake Grasp, and then you get all your active anointments. But now there's no more of that, so this is going to be very interesting in seeing how, you know, Amara mains deal with that, as well as Flack where he looks into the sky, activates his Gamma Burst, and obviously pretty much does the same thing, triggering his anointments. Now they have only mentioned these two Vault Hunters, Amara and Flack, so I'm not exactly sure how that's going to balance between the other Vault Hunters, but it's going to be very interesting to see. They also added 14 new action skill damage anointments. We've added a new series of action skill damage anointments for all skill trees. Now all Vault Hunter action skills have anointments to buff their damage. Alright, moving on down to the general tab, there is a ton of information here, so I might not explain it all in depth, but let's just go ahead and start reading them off. Alright, the first one here is they removed Mayhem level gear from enemies. Now this one is huge again because enemies have been using Mayhem 10 gear for so long now, so hopefully, you know, since we don't have Mayhem 10 shields, it'll be a lot better balancing. I think this is perfect and has definitely been needed in the game, especially for Flack survivability because he's constantly added this advantage. They added support for final form character cosmetics to the new use stations, updated some loading screen tips for added clarity, modified audio priority system for player gunshots, optimized audio memory, optimized animation memory, prevented the countdown at the start of takedowns from flashing on the screen too quickly, updated the echo device to show the correct character portrait when characters spoke, adjust the report of concern where the photo mode would not activate when accessing it through the quick menu, resetting the camera using the reset camera function in photo mode will no longer reset to a random location, Loading screens no longer appear zoomed in when in non-standard aspect ratios. Optimized UI performance, prevented the echo map from rotating unexpectedly. Updated the citizen science machine to prevent it from occasionally not functioning. Addressed the reported concern where enemies did not spawn during the Defend Balix objective during the mission The Family Jewel in Voracious Canopy. Addressed the reported concern where the Iridium Deposit failed to appear during the Break Iridium Deposit objective during the mission Beneath the Meridian in the Forgotten Basilica. And then nativized the Hotfixes. So that is all of the general changes to the game. As you can see, some of them have a bigger impact than others. Obviously, like removing the Mayhem level gear from enemies, and some of them are smaller that a lot of people aren't really going to notice, like the Defend Balix objective, things like that that are very specific. But it is really cool just to kind of go over it and see everything that changed to the game. Alright, next up is stability. Fix the reported concern where the host could crash when a client ended the Iron Bear action skill. Fix the reported concern where the game could crash when viewing fast travel stations on the Echo map. After that, we have matchmaking. With the changes below, we hope to improve the matchmaking times for all types of content. As a reminder, you can always access matchmaking via the social menu. So they've added arms race to matchmaking, combined trials and circles of slaughter into a single matchmaking pool, addressed an issue where players matchmaking from a takedown map would be put into a separate matchmaking pool, updated matchmaking pools to only consider whether Mayhem mode is enabled or disabled instead of creating a pool for each Mayhem level. Now personally, I don't use the matchmaking mode in the game, but this is really cool for those of you who actually do use it, and it seems like it's going to help a lot. Alright, moving on to the characters, probably the part that you guys have all been waiting for, we have Zayn the Operative. With today's patch, we have made several changes to Zayn's skill trees and class mods. Our goals with these changes are to increase the skill tree build diversity, as well as remove the reliance on one class mod for builds. While making these changes, we determined that certain skills should be moved on their respective skill trees to a different position. For these skill changes to apply properly, Zayn players will need to save quit their characters once to have their trees updated to these new layouts. Skill points that were in the 4 swapped skills will be refunded when they load their characters the second time. If a player does not have enough points invested to unlock a high tier skill they previously applied points to, they will need to reapply the refunded skill points before using those high tier skills. Now this is very, very interesting. I had no idea they were actually going to move any of the skills around like individually, but it is really cool that they are prioritizing different class mods, especially since everyone's been using the C and Dead com for so long. It's going to be nice to see other class mods being used. Alright, so here are the skill tree changes for Zayn. First off, we have the Hitman tree. Death Follows Close is an incredibly strong passive skill, much stronger than the effects of the capstone C in red. This feels backwards, so we have swapped the position of these two skills to better represent their value relative to each other. Please remember the changes require you to save quit your character once to function properly. Swap the positions of Death Follows Close and C in red on the skill trees. They also added kill skill bonus plus 15% to C in red. So if you guys go into your game and don't actually see a difference with these skill trees, like they said, make sure to save quit your character once before loading into it, and you should see a major difference. Alright, next up we have the Undercover Tree. Like the Hitman tree, the mid-tier passive and capstone skills of this tree had an inverted value relative to their position. This change also allows players to get more value out of their shields and barrier via distributed denial being much more lower in the tree. Please remember the changes require you to save quit your character once to function properly. So like it says, they swapped the positions of Confident Competence and distributed denial on the skill tree. They also buffed gun damage from Confident Competence. Last one is the Double Agent tree. Given the percent chance of duct tape mod proccing, it could spell disaster for Zayn in close quarters combat. Now players don't have to worry about accidentally downing themselves when a grenade is launched. So it says duct tape mod now grants Zayn immunity to damage from his weapons and grenades. This is a huge thing because duct tape mod would normally always do damage to Zayn, so it's going to be really nice having that immunity and not being able to down yourself. Alright, moving on to class mods, we have the Infiltrator. So it says they reworked the ability to allow the shield to refill before it is broken whenever an action skill is activated. Now this is also great because normally it doesn't actually allow your shield to completely refill before it breaks again, so having this change is going to be a huge difference. Alright, next up is C and Dead. This class mod has been overperforming, so we have removed some of the power from the mod. To counter this change, the C and Red passive skill within Zayn's Hitman skill tree has been given a buff. effectively giving all players access to additional damage without the requirement of using this class mod. Now, a lot of people might be really upset about this, obviously, because Seeing Dead has been the meta for so long for Zane mains, but I think this is going to be a very positive thing, because now we can use other class mods and we're not having to rely all on Seeing Dead. Alright, moving on from Zane, we have Amara the Siren. Certain types of damage were unintentionally being passed to other enemies caught in the Siren's phase grasp. This change prevents those interactions, but no other changes have been made to this skill. A previous hotfix did not address all the issues discovered, and this solution is a more robust, permanent solution. So they updated ties that bind to only pass weapon and melee damage to enemies, weapon anointments that increase weapon or melee damage after phase slam now properly increase damage, and they also updated Muse class mod to prevent double dipping on damage modifiers. Now again, I think this is going to be completely fair because it wasn't actually working as intended, but now it is. They also haven't changed anything else about this skill, so you shouldn't have to worry too much. Next up, we have Flack the Beastmaster. Pets will now receive damage buffs from the Global Grenade Anointment, and they addressed their reported concern that when dealing critical hits in a rapid succession while using the Rack Attack action skill and head count passive, Rack Attack charges would not be gained properly and the cooldown timer was reset. Now, I don't play a ton of Flack, but I'm pretty sure this right here is just referring to the fact that you would instantly be getting your action skill back when paired with these skills, so I think this is going to be good, just resetting your cooldown. Moving on from that, we have the EchoCast update. So they've added support for next-gen consoles, Microsoft Xbox SX, and the Sony PlayStation 5. They've added support for the 4th skill trees to Twitch EchoCast. They've added support for Arms Race to Twitch EchoCast. When watching a streamer using the EchoCast during Arms Race, the inventory, skill trees, and guardian rank tabs are hidden. The rare chest event is also deactivated and replaced with the Extractor Breach event. When in Arms Race, a new map tab is shown, which renders the in-game map along with points of interest. Points of interest are player location, respawn locations, extractor locations, boss area, death, circle size location, and time between states. So obviously these are the things in the Arms Race game mode that you're going to be wanting to head towards, such as the respawn location, extractor locations, boss area, things like that, and just player location, so you can see where everybody is, in your multiplayer, or just where you are compared to the rest of the map. So I'm pretty sure this is referring to the Murdercane on the edge of the map, obviously closing in to keep you towards the boss. So as you can see here, they added a new Arms Race event to the EchoCast Extractor Breach. This new EchoCast event will allow viewers an opportunity to win streamer items in a setting that makes sense for Arms Race. In Arms Race, players must extract dropped gear to keep it in use outside of the game mode. This event gives viewers the chance to win items the streamer extracts from the game mode during play and after defeating the final boss. So obviously, the weapons inside of Arms Race you're not actually going to be able to use until you extract them and you can use them in the main game. So for any viewers who are actually watching this stream, you guys are going to be given a chance to actually get those items from the extractor so you can also use those in the main game. Moving on down to hotfixes. These changes will be live on all platforms by 12 PM Pacific time. To apply hotfixes, go to the main menu until you see a sign that reads hotfixes applied. If you are experiencing any issues or want to provide feedback, please submit a ticket to support2k.com. Enabled purple E-Tech pistols to drop in-game, increased the resolution of the images in Zero's bounty board in Sanctuary 3, and they addressed a previous change that was causing some PC users to be unable to drop equipped gear. So obviously, if you guys do not have your hotfixes applied, all you're going to want to do is wait at the main menu and make sure you see the sign that reads hotfixes applied. Once you see that sign, you should be good to go and go ahead and start up your game, and all these fixtures should be live. Moving on down to the very last thing on this patch and hotfixes for today is the weapon adjustments. So as you can see here, they have adjusted a total of 10 weapons to the game: the Phasor, the Ion Laser, Shredifire, Trevinator, Tunguska, Link, Rebel Yell, Hornet, Nemesis, and Flacker. And for a lot of these, they just really increased the weapon damage, such as these ones right here. But let's go ahead and see what the other ones are. So for the Ion Laser, they of course increased the weapon damage, but also they increased the number of projectiles that are released when the laser stops. Moving on down the line, we also have the Hornet, which was given an increased splash damage radius. And these are basically the only two weapons in the game that have been changed, obviously, besides increased weapon damage. So hopefully, if you guys want to go pick these weapons up in game and use them, they should be doing a lot more damage, and hopefully they are. Let me know down in the comment section below if you've actually tried out any of these weapons and you like them, or if you don't like them, if they need a buff or not. They have buffed weapons in the past where they have buffed them and unfortunately, you know, you try them out in game and they're not actually all that great. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But that is it for today. I'm going to be making a ton more videos, obviously going over arms race and things like that. I just wanted to make a video going over this hotfix and patch because it is a very, very big one, and they added a ton of stuff to the game. So hope you guys are excited as I am for it, and I'm going to be jumping into some arms race very, very soon, obviously recording more videos for you guys. But thank you so much for watching this one. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Melodies we haven't played.